Welcome in Tuesday morning. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Ole Miss, Kentucky tonight from the SBJ Pavilion, SJB Pavilion, St. and John Black. 6 o'clock start time for the Wildcats and the Rebels. Look at that. Look at Lions. Look at the schedule. We didn't talk any Senior Bowl yesterday. Jackson Dart creeping up in some mock drafts. And other news here today with you. Show every day brought to you by Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. They got lunch specials, $5.69, couple sides bread, any size fountain drink. You got Sweet Daddy's locations in most of those stops. You get ribs, pulled pork, and plenty more. Maybe you need a quick meal tonight on the way in or just to watch the game. To kind of a catering situation for you. Blue Sky can help you out with that. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote. Within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest will join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Yeah, a couple things in the stream right there. BWL said, remember when signing day tomorrow was a huge deal, how times have changed. Yes, tomorrow is the first Wednesday in February.
Yes. That is no
coffee night and the last-minute decisions. You'd be on the phone one last time at 11:30, 11:45, see who got one of those last bags before things took a bit of a switch.
That is no longer the case.
It's no longer in that era. That era is quite gone. There was an innocence to that, even though it was dirty as all hell. So
yes.
It's.
I don't miss it. I know some people do. I don't. I prefer this model.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Prefer this model.
Mm-hmm.
Model, not execution. Two different things.
The payment of it, yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I'd be for total transparency. I suspect we'll eventually get there.
We were just in a little more market rate of a situation back then. You weren't getting paid $1.2 million to do something back in the day.
And I have a feeling this will correct itself based on just some conversations I've begun to have with people. I think I was actually ahead of the curve.
To what level you think?
I think it's going to revert back to more normal numbers.
Do you?
Yes.
Throw a little inflation on and whatever that number is. Yeah. Okay. Grind, thanks for Super Chat. Starting us off this morning, says Ole Miss forced an athletic Auburn team to commit 25 fouls, over or under 32.5 fouls committed by UK. Feels like tonight could be a long game if Ole Miss attacks like they did on Saturday. Yeah, I thought the flow was fine on Saturday. I didn't really get bored or anything watching, but when you looked up, the game did go like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something. It was a long basketball game.
It was a long game.
Saturday.
Yeah. It was a lot of free throws, a lot of fouls, and Ole Miss was very aggressive. I thought Ole Miss was the more aggressive team for most of the game. They just weren't the better team. But they were aggressive. They got downhill. They forced Auburn to foul. Officials put them on the line. I mean, who knows what that game looks like if you make more of the free throws, but I'm not huge on hypotheticals like that. They didn't. So some of that becomes, well, you keep going downhill, you're getting to the line, you're not making. So it's just kind of a complicated thing. But no, I over under on 32.5, probably go over. Kentucky fouls a lot.
Yeah, not big on the defense. So
you don't know what kind of officiating crew you're going to get. Are they going to let them play? Are they going to call it tight? I don't know. Ole Miss fouls a lot in the post just because they give up so much size.
From an injury standpoint, Matthew Morrell listed as questionable again, third, fourth game in a row for that. I fully expect him to play. I'll be astonished if he's not out there in the last guy that comes out for the starting lineups.
Matt will play.
Yeah. Kentucky sitting in a similar spot they've been. Lamont Butler still absent for the Wildcats. He last played against Vanderbilt in that loss in Nashville 2 Saturdays ago. He has a shoulder issue, so he's been ruled out again. Hasn't played since then. They do get he's been playing, but Andrew Carr not on the injury report at all this morning for Kentucky. the 6'11" forward for them, so a little bit of a lift. And the kid, I forget his last name, Jackson's his first name, he's done a really good job as a backup point guard in this stead for Lamont Butler. He scored 37 points and only had 4 combined turnovers in the last 2 games in Butler's absence. So he's done a really, really good job. Now, the primary backup going into the season is also out, so they have no depth now at point at all. So when he comes off the floor, they do have a little bit of a hard time protecting the basketball and getting up floor. But he has done a good job just quickly instead there for him. And then the Carr kid in the middle, he's been averaging about 10 points a game. But yeah, Butler, big loss. I mean, he had 17 against Alabama, and maybe the last completely healthy game that he has played. And then they again little down. Jackson Robinson, that's his name. Yeah, Jackson Robinson at Kentucky will play point tonight in that one. Looking at it here, Ole Miss favored by 4.5 in Vegas tonight. Over under 157.5. So game around 80-ish, somewhere in there. You've got tickets as cheap as $16, but some have been going quite over market in the lower bowl for tonight. I expect a large crowd. I think that's to be the case. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it was a Saturday game at 1, and it was the number 1 team in the country. But and I don't mean this like rudely, but like the average fan, it's still Auburn versus Kentucky. So tonight's a bigger ticket in some ways for some people who are just coming to town.
Yeah.
2 months ago they said, "Oh, when's the Kentucky game?" And you see Kentucky in the blue and whatnot. So in some ways, different ticket tonight for the Wildcats.
Auburn wore some blue also.
I mean, I covered I was covering the Ole Miss golf team in the spring while Auburn was there, and they were wearing powder blue polos. They were doing the powder, so it's become pretty universal.
A lot of people are doing powder.
Yeah,
it's very popular.
At the time, I kind of talked crap about it on the podcast and upset people. So I'll move.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember that? Yeah,
No.
yeah. A little bit of frustration there, but it's fine. It's okay.
People over there got frustrated with you?
I heard from one person over there, and then I think Grind was defending it too in the stream. You can let me know, Grind. You said they wore it like in the 70s or something. There was like some pullback to the powder a little bit. If I'm mistaken, you can tell me that too. Only 2 other games tonight in the SEC. You got Vanderbilt, Florida, 6 o'clock, SEC Network, Florida minus 11.5. Coming off that loss, I like Florida to control the Commodores tonight in Gainesville.
Yeah, I don't hate Florida minus 11. I mean, listen. Let me be clear here. I'm not betting on any of these games with my money. So if you go bet on them based on what I say and then it doesn't work out,
that's your funeral.
Yeah, don't bring it to me, because I'm just telling you, I'm not betting 1 cent of my actual money on this. I think I would take Ole Miss and lay the points, by the way, if you made me bet money. If you forced me to bet, and I'd go under. If you told me it goes over, I kind of think Kentucky wins. It's my opinion.
I mean, you don't want a 98-96 game. You don't want to.
I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It won't be the first time. It won't be the last.
I think I'm with you, though. I think I like Florida tonight. And yeah, if you told me Ole Miss, Kentucky, if you handed me 20 and said, "Hey, free roll," I'd throw it on the Rebels tonight. I think so. I mean, they point out here, I guess it's Grind. I think it was Grind in the stream points out that Butler, while out, he is also their best defensive player. So, I mean, a bad defense loses its best defensive player again.
There,
mean, it's Neal is not high on them defensively.
They're horrible.
They are not Tennessee.
No, they can't guard air.
So,
when they're working on defense drills against air, the air scores.
So, put that in layman's terms. If you're Ole Miss, how are you attacking that against a really bad defensive team? What are you trying to do?
Moving the basketball, making them work. You're driving to the paint, looking for dish, looking for the extra pass. You watch some Auburn film from the other day. You beat your man. You drive to the basket. You don't force it if it's not there. You kick to the outlet in the corner. When they go to close out, you make the extra pass. You get the open 3. You make it. If you have a clear lane to the basket, you take it. And you will have clear lanes to the basket against them. And then defensively, you just don't want to let them get hot. You just want to make them work, which I think is why I like the matchup for Ole Miss, because that's the one thing Ole Miss has been able to consistently do this year is play defense. I thought they played good defense against Auburn. Auburn just made the extra play. Auburn made the extra pass. It created the open look. And then they've got dudes that they signed and probably paid a lot of money to knock down shots. And that's not a knock on Auburn. They're spending money on basketball. They should. It works. Frankly, it's the sport of the big sports. It's the sport they're best at for the last, 5 years. Hell, they went to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got screwed out of a trip to the title game. It was the year that Beard went to the Final Four. I mean, they get huge crowds there. It looks like a lot of fun on TV. I mean, the whole deal. So I'm not criticizing them for investing in basketball. It's really worked.
And your Ole Miss, I mean, the way they play defense with the no middles and the whole deal. I mean, if you can't get that extra pass, Ole Miss it's the one defensive thing. They are susceptible to the three when you really rotate it one extra time and,
Everybody
and
is.
get it there. Well, good point.
That's what the NBA does. That's why when you beat your man off the dribble and defense has to help, well, it becomes a math equation. You beat somebody, and now you make the pass. Someone has to go close out. You make the extra pass. You just keep moving the ball, and eventually someone's going to get an open look. Your hope at that point is that you make them work so hard that you work the shot clock down and they don't get quite the look that they wanted to get. But as a whole, if you beat your man on the dribble drive, if you're disciplined with outlet passing, you're going to get a good look.
If I give you one stat tonight, what do you want?
I'm still rebounds.
It's still rebounds?
Yeah.
It's not Kentucky 3-point percentage?
No, it's still, for me, it's rebounds. If you get just hammered on the glass, that means they got a bunch of second chance shots.
Somebody asked, do they have somebody that occupies the type of attention that Broom does? No. Very few people in college basketball do. So that is.
I mean, frankly, the only other team that has that is Duke.
Yeah.
Maybe Rutgers with Bailey.
Is Rutgers doing any good as a team?
I don't think so. They just got those two young kids. One's really, really good, and one's raw. I mean, I can see why the NBA loves him, but he's raw.
Kentucky is 19 in the net as of this morning. 15-6 is their record. They are 2-1 on the road on the year. They are 7-5 quad 1, 0-1 quad 2, 2-0 quad 3, and 6-0 quad 4. So, I mean, again, Kentucky's got the big wins. They just have some really odd no-show losses too.
Yeah.
On their schedule. So it's a big night for Ole Miss. It's a game they need.
A lot of people, because of all the drama with Saturday, probably didn't go look at the metrics from that game. If you go look at the metrics from Arkansas, Kentucky, Arkansas played a really good basketball game. Kind of did everything pretty well. Metrically. I mean, no one's going to do that because of the soap opera and all that stuff, but they had guys who they're paying a lot of money to play well.
We said it yesterday. It's a mindset week for Kentucky because you're probably going to get Saturday. They got South Carolina at home coming up next, and in some ways, it's almost kind of free-shotted for Kentucky tonight. I mean, you need to calm them down probably if you're Pope, if anything else, because I'm sure it's been a little bit of a rattling experience in Lexington since that game on Sunday night. So I want to see how they come out. I'm pretty fascinated in tonight's game. One other game tonight in the SEC, Oklahoma as at Auburn. So good luck to the Sooners tonight. Auburn is a 17.5-point favorite in this one. Auburn again 20-1 overall, 8-0 in the SEC. Oklahoma 16-5, 3-5. So as we said yesterday, numbers starting to get to them a little bit because they're going to be 3-6 at the end of the evening when you're trying to chase a certain deal there. So 17.5. Nationally, Ole Miss and Kentucky's probably the second best game of the day. You've got Marquette St. John's tonight at St. John's. So that's number 12 against number 13. Kind of a little bit of a classic matchup there. Good game, fun game. So that's on FS1, by the way, at 6:30 for anybody that cares, which they don't on our audience, but nonetheless. I mean, if you're TV 2-ing or something, feel free. It's there. At least it's not a damn 8 o'clock start. That's the win for tonight. No 8 p.m. tip.
That's true.
And I think everybody probably is agreeing on.
I'm going to see 4 hours of soccer.
4 hours?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the girls' game just to support.
They're the one in the division?
Yeah. Yep.
Who do they play?
Germantown.
You nervous?
No. It's what it is.
Well, it always is what it is. But
I mean, it's going to end at some point in the next 11 days.
how was he feeling this morning?
I don't know.
You didn't talk to him?
No, I don't really talk to him on game day.
Doesn't want to talk about the weather and the news and the stuff.
Nope. I said one thing to him. I could hear a little edge, and I left it at that.
I don't know. I find that funny, but I kind of do.
By 5 o'clock, there will be a razor's edge. I won't get near him.
What time do they have to be there?
I don't know. 6:30, I'd guess. 6.
Okay.
Yeah. He'll be there at 5.
One last thing.
I mean, win or lose, I will miss that part of it. I enjoy seeing people do stuff they really like and getting dialed in the way he does. It's kind of cool. I like that. I like the whole. If as a coach, I think in any sport, if you could have a bunch of kids with his mentality, you'd like it.
So closing a little bit on Ole Miss and Kentucky today because they'll play the game tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I do find, and we've been talking about it, Ken Palm has them projected to win the next 5 games in a row. And if so, I mean, Chris Beard sign up tomorrow and mosey on into the postseason.
Yeah,
but this is actually, of those 5, they have this the second closest game of the 5. The Pavilion will be very tight, but it'll be a hell of a game tonight. They're projecting an 80-77 Ole Miss win over Kentucky. Tonight in this one, but I mean they've got them beating OSU by twice that. They've got them beating South Carolina on the road by more than that.
Yeah.
They haven't beaten State at home by more than that.
Yeah, State has not played well lately.
Yeah, and then the closest game of this stretch, if it just went by analytical scratch, would be they have a 76-74 win over Vanderbilt down on the schedule. So in Nashville here in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is.
Chris would sign up for this.
He would take the entire final thing and not really even care what the bottom was. I mean, it had them even playing pretty respectful at Auburn. I mean, losing 82-69 at Neville is not the end of the world at all. Take that and get on out of there and tip your hat and tell them good luck and good night the rest of the way.
You'd make a 69 joke and then just head out the door.
Yeah, because you'd be heading out the door. They're 5-4. You'd be heading out the door at 10-5 and go, and enjoyed it, Bruce.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You'd say we had a nice time. Ha ha.
We'll see you in Nashville, and good luck. Safe travels.
He's not really that way, though. I think
No,
he's not.
Well, because I mean, the other day, I mean,
people with edge.
I mean, you and I talked about it. I mean, after the show yesterday, Beard did not want to talk big picture after the game on Saturday.
Now that dude started asking that question, and I was like, man, read the room. Like, read the room, my guy.
He's not ready to opine on the state of the league and the sport of college basketball at this point. So.
No, it was. I actually worried about that guy as he asked it. I was like, come on now. You don't spend a lot of time around different kind of competitive people, do you? Guess I always love the threads on the board. Like, ask him this. I'm like, okay, you guys got to. These are different people.
You got to read the room a little bit.
You gotta pick your spots. You got to kind of understand a little psychology to get this right. I mean, he even kind of got on me a little bit. If I told you would have free throws like this, would you have thought good? Yes.
Well, that was an answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, so what happened?
So just a question real quick.
I mean, you answered my question with one answer, one word that's probably going to merit a follow-up. So here it comes.
Well, you've asked a closed-ended question. You gave the ability for yes and no, so he gave you the yes.
He answered it. And so I followed up with what he had to begrudgingly admit was a fair question, and he answered it. What he wanted to say was, come on, you of all people, you know they're good. That's what he wanted to say. But he was a little more diplomatic.
Who'd they bring in the room
Padula.
Oh, okay.
And he's
he had a big night.
And he's good.
Yeah.
It's where Chris opens.
Yes.
And then Sean's the buffer for a few minutes.
He's the cooling down period guy for a minute.
And then he leaves.
Yes.
And if you're smart, while you listen to Sean, you watch Chris for the reaction.
To the questions and answers.
Yeah, because you get an idea of what he's agreeing with and what maybe he's...
Because there is body language. He's like looking at the stat sheet, and he puts the glasses on, and he's kind of like holding his nose a little bit, like the bridge of his nose. But yeah, he kind of moves a little bit and kind of gives a little bit of an idea as it's going on. He's
yeah, could you comment on the strength of the league? No. That's right. You're not armed, are you? What are we doing? And then the first question to Beard's about, I saw your team praying.
That was the first question?
First one.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. I was like, come on, man, really? Well, what's he supposed to say? And to Bruce's credit, he gives a really good answer that's like propaganda for all the Auburn people. But
so they prayer circled. That's what you're telling me. They had a prayer circle. Did they really?
I can't speak to it being a circle. They did.
They had a prayer circle.
They prayed. It may have been a prayer oval.
Did they send out a media alert so everybody could take pictures of it?
They did not. They did it after the game. And Bruce says that you can't talk the talk unless you're going to walk the walk. And they do it every game, win or lose. But they did it after the game.
Okay.
So that tells me, hey, we're not exactly calling a lot of attention to it.
Correct.
That maybe this is legit. At which point I'm like, cool, but...
You think their football program will take that cue?
I mean, at some point when they hire the right coach.
Okay. Not in 2025.
Yeah. Look, listen, I will take all the barbs from Auburn people on this because I'm right. When you set it up, take the photo, get every beat writer to take the photo and tweet it out, it looks propaganda-ish. I'm not anti-prayer.
No, it's not that.
It's not that.
It's the presentation.
Yeah.
They literally have sent text out going, hey, it will be at 1:48.
Yeah. The pregame prayer will be at, all right, well, I'll just say I think that cheapens it some.
Yeah, I get it.
And you can fight back if you want. You're free to disagree.
That's fine.
I've got a little more respect for the team praying in a locker room.
Yeah.
In the privacy of a locker room.
Mm-hmm.
In the privacy of the bus.
Yeah, or even on the field, just don't send out a media alert. Like, whatever, do what you want to do.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sure. So,
I mean, lots of teams, when they take the field, you'll see guys run down to the goal line and pray.
Most baseball teams get a little huddle up outside the base path. Baseline.
I never judge who does or doesn't, or how long you pray. I've never spent 1 second thinking about it. But when you send out the alert that at 1:22 we will have the team prayer at the circle, and then it's an oval. At least if you're going to call it a circle, get in a circle. Don't get in an oval. Call it the prayer oval. What would be the difference?
It's true. Maybe a square, let's line up 90-degree angles.
You could have a prayer square and see that has a little rhyme to
it's
it.
Good. You could trademark that bad boy.
Yeah.
Put it on T-shirts. Auburn, go ahead. I'd like a little royalty.
You're welcome.
Prayer square.
Prayer square.
Yes. Just put the little emoji in the middle with a little square on the T-shirt. Good.
Give Hugh a microphone. Let him pass the plate. The whole deal. Brought to you by Yellowwood.
There you go.
See?
Jimmy's still pretty involved over there.
I don't know. Probably.
Okay. Odds are good.
Yeah. Odds are favorable.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to whatever's next in a minute. First, tell you about Wendy's Nugs. Because, look, we've all had them dipped in sauce. They haven't covered in sauce. The new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, real heat seeker, spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love.
I dare you.
Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's. Participating U.S. Wendy's.
Yes. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Having a little spring tease right now. Probably should serve as a reminder that at some point the weather will get warm, and when it does, you're going to want to turn the air conditioner on, and you might want to make sure that bad boy's ready to roll. So get in touch with our friends at Comer and Southern. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, those areas, call our friends at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, South Haven, Hernando, Horn Lake, those areas, get into Olive Branch, get in touch with our friends at Southern, 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Their experts are fully bonded and insured. They can handle up to 4 stories on any building. So 662-510-7077 or windowhero.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. It's rebelsretire.com. Got 10 days till Valentine's Day. If you're jewelry shopping, got engagement season, wedding season, all that stuff, get in touch with our friends at Arnett's Fine Jeweler. It's 4th generation jeweler, located in the old Lammon's Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer jewelry repair, engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones. They've got flexible bangles, diamond pendants, earrings, you name it, they've got it. They want to be your jeweler. That's Arnett's Fine Jewelry. And when you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. So call Argent Wealth, this 401k advisory services team today, and they'll complement a complimentary no-obligation benchmarking analysis of your current 401k plan. It's myargentwealth.com.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine for your prescriptions the same time each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it from G&M. So easy to transfer those medications. One phone call, they take care of the rest. So whether it's Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222. See on the TV over there, the Grizzlies have beat the Spurs 16 the last 17 times.
Is that right?
That's quite the run there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Fox play?
I have no idea. I've seen nothing.
I see. I saw Wemby. I didn't know if De'Aaron Fox.
And I guess they beat them again because otherwise the stat would not have been as relevant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Anyway. A couple different interesting gambling things going on, but I want to talk about that later. We'll go to that in a minute. Not there yet. I'm reading the stream. People's lack of spatial awareness, or maybe awareness period, because Avery's in here, says she's parked in an empty parking lot and somebody came in and parked right next to her so close that she could barely open her door. Like, I think the greater thing is people simply do not pay attention at all to what they're doing. Or they saw you were watching the podcast on your phone and they wanted to get a view when they pulled in. One of the other, but
probably that.
I mean, that's the same principle as like when a man's in a urinal and like the entire line is open and they come right next to you, and just stand there.
What are you doing?
Like, there's like 8. Go anywhere else.
There's a like unwritten law there. Law, like
not recommendation.
If there's a bank of urinals and there's room for you to leave a urinal open between you and the next person,
you leave the urinal open.
You don't come. Yeah. Come on.
I kind of have a thing when I'm pulling in a parking lot. I don't like pulling if I can help it. And there's other spots, even if it's 5 or 6 down. I try not to pull in between 2 cars. Like I just kind of don't. I'll go farther out to try to avoid that if possible.
Yeah, like in a grocery store, I'll park out. just to,
fine with the extra 15-yard walk or
that
whatever
gives me a
it
little
is.
more time to put my AirPods on and
There you go.
everything.
You put them both in or just one?
Usually both.
Because one would make you susceptible to people thinking you still are interested in conversation and
sometimes I'll put them in and I'm not even listening to anything. I'll just put them in. Just.
Do you do that when you're writing after a game too?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Is that to block out sound or block out conversation or both?
Yes.
Okay. All involved.
Well, I mean,
airing grievances today.
Maybe you're just this talented of a writer, but I do have to think about what I'm writing. I've got to. I usually kind of have a plan a little bit, and I'm trying to execute that plan. And I'm listening for a certain quote. I try to get the quote right. And if people are talking to you, you're having to go back 15 seconds all the time to listen to it over and over and over again. It's like, no, God, shut up. And that's not a place for like conversation.
It's the one place I will put both in because I normally just wear one AirPod, and it's because they never die that way. I'll just swap it out for the other one, and I never have to worry about having to recharge them while I'm in the middle of the day. But yeah, I noticed it at the game the other night against Texas. Got back in, was writing, and was like, I mean, cool having a conversation, like whatever, it's fine, but like kind of locked in right now. I'd like to go home. It's 11:27 or whatever it is at the moment.
Yes.
So it'd be great to get out of here.
Well, I have no problem apologizing for once a game ends. It's a personal game of mine. How fast can we get this done? Now, the other day I wrote two.
Basketball is a harder sport to write ahead.
Well, yeah, if the game's close.
There's nothing. I mean,
now early in the year when they're like beating somebody by 32, this is
because the game story doesn't matter anyway. You don't really care who did what at 3:12 to go.
No, we're cruising.
We're big picture.
Very big picture. Like Chris, I need you to specifically say this right now, slowly.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. But I was one of the last ones to leave, but I was still moving pretty efficiently because I wrote a story, I wrote a column, and then I did all the videos.
So, ESPN published their bubble watch today, and as you're aware, Ole Miss is not on the bubble, but nationally, they've got 18 locks, 47 teams on the bubble. 18 teams should be in. Work to do 29 teams. That's how they break that up. So out of the 47, what they think to be potential NCAA tournament teams, they have 18 should be in and 29 with work to do. So in the SEC, they have, and this is, I'm only going through this because the ESPN metrics don't value Ole Miss the way that every other metric out there does, and they admit that in the story.
Okay.
From a lock standpoint, which means 95% tournament chance or better.
Okay.
Meaning it would take nothing or hell to freeze over at this point.
Okay.
Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, all at 100.
Yeah.
Florida, 97, A&M, 96.
Okay.
That's where they have it as of today.
Okay.
Should be in is 70% to 94%.
Okay.
Kentucky, 94%. They've got them the highest of the remaining deals.
Yeah, they're 19 in the net.
Yeah, it says they still have the 18th toughest remaining strength of schedule, and they're surprisingly only a game above 500, but that's where they got them. This is where it's ESPN's stats are odd, and again, you can argue whether they're right or wrong. I'm just reading. Texas is next, 91% for the Longhorns.
Okay.
It says after a string of SEC losses left them listed at only 36% of bracket matrix's entries 2 weeks ago. They're in better shape at the moment, 3-7 against the top 50 BPI teams, 39th in SOR, 25th in the net, 4-0 against teams 51 to 100. They're tracking to at least make the field of 68. Mississippi State, 83%. So they've been slipping recently, but they still are okay at the moment. And then for Ole Miss, says the ESPN forecast, 81%. The ESPN forecast reports Ole Miss has a bit more work to do than other public projection models where the Rebels average a 98% chance of making the tournament. So far outlier here with ESPN at 81, perhaps because they rank 43rd in the BPI strength of schedule and face the fifth toughest future strength of schedule.
Okay.
But at number 19 in the SOR and number 23 in the net with an above 500 mark in the mighty SEC, it is completely hard to believe Mississippi would not warrant a tournament bid. So
that's fair.
Yeah, completely fair.
Yeah.
And the strength of schedule is it actually kind of helps Ole Miss the way it's set up, because while, yes, they have the fifth hardest strength of schedule related or whatever, it's because they have those ridiculously difficult games. They play 1, 4, and 5 in the net, but those aren't the ones you need anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you just beat the average to bad teams relative to the league, that doesn't matter. That's only helping you when you go to Neville and get beat. Who gives a shit? And you move on with your day. So that's partly where the metric is flawed, is it's trying to act like the average of their games, but they have this huge seesaw because they have whatever at the top that's clouding that a little bit when you look at the numbers. This
stupid
one,
computers.
it's stupid computers. I mean, AI not smart enough to figure this out. Need a human brain.
Where's Grok when you need him?
Exactly. Missouri only 59% right now.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
I don't either. And they say that too. Missouri's placement in this tier of odds is a bit of a head scratcher for a team that ranks 12th in SOR with winning records against both top 50 and top 100. BPI still relatively down on the Tigers, making them 34th compared to 21st for net, 23rd for KenPom. And they have no shortage of difficult opponents left on the schedule. It says somehow their previous schedule only ranks 91st toughest in the country. They're in. I don't care. Yeah, they're in.
I'm the ESPN computer now will fight on this one, I think.
Sooners at 48%, not reading their stuff. Georgia at 46, which actually feels high right now because Georgia just feels scuffling. It's.
I'll pull up their schedule.
I think KenPom's got them at 6 and 12 on projections right now. The rest of the way, 7-11 or 6 and 12. 7 and 11, 19 and 12, 7 and 11.
All right, so
they have a huge game at home against Mississippi State.
They actually have a huge week.
They do.
They get LSU at home. So Georgia's 3-6.
They are.
All right, so let's give them a win, 4-6. They get Mississippi State at home. Let's give them a win, 5-6. At A&M, 5-7. Their big game is Missouri. They get Missouri at home on February 15th. Let's give it to them. So that would be 6. So 3-6, 4-4.
That would be
5
6
and 6, 5 and 7, 6 and 7. They go to Auburn 6 and 8. They get Florida at home. Florida's been weird now. They get Florida at home. They go to Texas, and they finish. Now their finish is pretty favorable at South Carolina, home against Vanderbilt. They probably have to get to 8. 8 and 10, Georgia probably gets in. Should.
Yeah, I still think Georgia's in at 8 and 10.
The tournament's going to be weird because people are going to be arguing about whether this game means anything or not. Usually, history shows that the games don't mean anything.
Very rarely. You can't hurt yourself for sure.
No.
There's no way to hurt yourself once you're
Unless
fine.
You lose to South Carolina, which would hurt. But the team that plays them will be the 5, and they're already in.
And only plays them if they win a game. No. Yeah, because 9 through 16 plays the first night.
Okay, so the team that plays them would be the 9, which means they're probably already in.
Probably okay.
Yeah.
But that theoretically sets up an odd deal.
Yeah.
But you're probably fine there. So Georgia, I mean, they have Arkansas at 38%, but as we mentioned, that's the one that's probably about right because that schedule is kind of funny late. You can win games. So they got to get on their horse. But I'm not ruling out the Razorbacks yet.
Probably got to get on their hog.
Fair. Well, hog's kind of, I don't know, boar can move a little bit.
Yeah.
Not the slowest animal in the world.
You wouldn't want to fight a boar.
Oh, God, no.
So Arkansas is 2-6. I mean, this is problematic.
2-6 is technically problematic.
I mean, if they beat Texas tonight, 3-6, but if they lose to Texas 2-7, it gets real squirrely. Because then you have to beat Alabama. I'll be honest, I think they have to beat Alabama at home. And then after that, it gets kind of doable. They get LSU at home, should win that. Go to Texas A&M, be tough. Go to Auburn, impossible. Then they finish with Missouri at home, Texas at home, at South Carolina, at Vanderbilt, home against Mississippi State. I mean, the last 5. So they got 2. If you swept the last 5, that would get you to 7. So they got to find 1 of the other ones with Texas, Alabama, at A&M, at Auburn. I mean, 25% chance.
And then the other pseudo bubble team, because of where their conference record is right now, is Vanderbilt. We talked about them yesterday. They're in that other story about kind of, are these breakout teams doable? Their issue is simply what's left on their schedule. They are going to be favored in one more game the rest of the season.
Yeah, so they're
got 4-4, but finding 4 more is a task with the Commodores.
They've got at Florida,
11% chance.
They get Texas at home,
47% chance.
Auburn at home,
14% chance.
At Tennessee,
10% chance.
Sure. At Kentucky,
20% chance.
Ole Miss at home,
41% chance.
At A&M,
18.
Missouri at home,
42.
Arkansas at home,
60.
And then at Georgia,
31. Metrically, they have two games where they are more than a 40% chance of winning the basketball.
I actually like both Georgia and Arkansas's chances better than Vandy's.
Vandy they have the second toughest remaining schedule the rest of the way nationally. Do not like their odds at all. And on that breakout team thing, they did mention Ole Miss and Memphis as the two teams that started really hot through half of the conference season last year. So they were trying to identify who that might be that fell off on the back half. That's why Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Louisville were all listed in this story. So it wasn't necessarily bubble teams. It was teams that have been very hot kind of out of nowhere in the first half, and whether that was sustainable at this point. And they do not believe Vanderbilt's to be sustainable. They do think Louisville's will be, so that's good news for Ole Miss. Their toughest remaining game is Pitt. And they are going to be favored in every game the rest of the season. So the Cardinals' chance to really throw up a record-wise a pretty gaudy number as you move forward there.
Good news for Ole Miss. If you're Ole Miss, you want Alabama and Louisville just to rack them up. You want those wins to be big, shiny diamonds. If you're on the bubble. I don't think Ole Miss is going to be on the bubble. I think they're going to be fine.
I don't think they're winning tonight. When you win tonight,
if you win the night, you're fine. Frankly, if you lose tonight, you're probably still fine. But if you win the night, you're fine. You'd have to completely fall apart if you won tonight.
Yeah, Vandy's got 2 sparkling wins. There's no doubt about that. They got wins over Tennessee and Kentucky. It's just how do you get them to 8? And I can't get them in at 7 and 11. I don't think. But hell, you got to pull an upset or 2 to get to 7. I mean, they're the team that could easily finish 6 and 12. They've played hard. Maybe they shock us all and they go 9 and 9, and we go, okay, good job, Commodores.
And listen, a 7 and 11 team might get in.
Might.
I mean, their metrics 43 right now. 43 net usually gets in.
Stream asking for a Kentucky run. an Oklahoma breakdown. They are 3 and 5 in the league, so you got to find 5 more for the Sooners potentially.
Right, let me pull them up.
Yep.
Basketball schedule.
I got it here if you want to do it.
I got it.
They're going to be 3 and 6 after tonight.
All right, so they got
Auburn on the road.
Auburn, they get Tennessee at home Saturday. Kind of feels big.
3 and 6, because you're either 3 and 7 or 4 and 6.
Tennessee's not been gangbusters on the road.
No, gettable.
At Missouri, feels tough. LSU at home.
Gonna get that one.
At Florida.
State at home.
Mississippi State at home. Kentucky at home. At Ole Miss on March 1st. Missouri at home and at Texas. I don't like their chances.
Don't think they're getting 5 more. Yeah.
That'd be tough.
Because you're not favored. You're not favored in the next 3, and if you're 3 and 8, it's over. So that's the problem. 8% against Auburn, 38 against Tennessee, 30 against Missouri, 82 against LSU. Okay, 17 Florida, 65 State, 56 Kentucky, 31 Ole Miss, 56 Missouri, and 33 Texas.
Ooh, Grind says he's going to throw some loose change on Arkansas winning the SEC tournament. That would be. Now you want to Ginger, turn it off just for a minute. The pure theater of Arkansas beating Kentucky and Nashville on that Thursday to send them all home for the weekend.
Oh God.
I would probably run outside just to watch.
Oh,
I would go find a street vendor where I could buy a beer and just like lean up against a wall and watch.
Neal, I'm getting uncomfortable right now as you're talking about it,
That'd be fun.
and I don't care.
I don't care either. That's why I would find it funny. Violent, maybe, but funny. Yeah, turn it off. I don't need Ginger's husband hunting me down. That would be woo.
I kind of want that to happen now, right? Are you a little
See?
like? I mean, is there a point? Because and Cal would do that like fake modesty thing and just be the nicest human on earth and have sugar dripping off of him.
That's what he did over the weekend. He won the weekend.
He did.
That was a blowout. Not the game, just the whole thing.
He even turned around and like scolded his own players for like kind of celebrating too much at Rupp.
The
like
Richmond kid.
Yeah. No. Stop.
Yeah. We don't do that here. We respect this place.
It's perfect.
Yeah. This is a sacred place. No. Give him credit, man. I mean, he won the weekend. It could have been something totally different. He won it. You got to you tip your hat. You do. He came in and did everything right. I mean, like a PR person.
It was perfect.
A PR person was looking at that going, this is a masterclass. This is absolutely, that is the way you would teach it. Stayed on script. Said nothing but nice things. Did the interview from the visitors bench. Didn't go walk to midcourt. And no, he was very reverent. Spoke highly.
Love all you guys.
Talked about the players. When he got off the plane, he hugged the attendant at the airport. I mean, everything. Then you win the game. Then you say all the right things.
Walked all through the restaurant the night before, taking pictures with all the fans and hanging out and all the conversations.
Yeah, could have easily hit at the team hotel.
How's your mama and them? Ribs are great.
Yeah.
Did you get that lobster mac and cheese? I mean,
even the blazer wasn't red. It was kind of
it had blue in it.
Had some blue in it.
It had blue in it.
It was just a win.
You think he had that blazer in the closet already, or you think they picked that one up for the week?
Probably had it in the closet already, but it was. Listen,
you think he had it in the closet already?
You get credit no matter what. It was a win.
He probably couldn't reuse a lot of his clothes from Kentucky.
Probably not.
You got to get some new stuff.
It was a win. It just was.
Complete win.
So got John Tyson sitting there on the court saying nice things. Everybody. It made Kentucky look sinister, which is probably not the way it was intended to look, because going into the week, everything was about, and this isn't about Pope, by the way. There's nothing he could do about it, but, Pope's this great guy, and Cal's a slovenly whatever. It was just, he won. Credit, and he's got to go, probably got to go capitalize on it a little bit, and I'm not convinced he will, but in terms of winning a weekend in and of itself, he did it.
I thought about this because people were mentioning the opening baseball series kind of at the top of the show, and I think today's the deadline. If you're going to Arlington, the Ole Miss Alumni Association is doing kind of they've got a lounge food event right before the Texas game on Saturday at 7. It opens at 4. It's in the stadium in one of the premium areas. Ole Miss plays basketball at 5, so it sets up a bit of a kind of a watch party thing. If you guys are in town, you can either get a package that includes your ticket for the day too, or if you already have your ticket, you can simply.
That's next weekend, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
You can actually get entrance into the into the event at that point too. So just go to the Ole Miss Alumni Association.com, go to the events page, and I think registration closes at 4 today. But so that's what kind of made me think of it when you guys were talking. But nonetheless, yeah, that is that. Ole Miss 3 o'clock Arizona on Friday, Texas 7 o'clock on Saturday evening, and Clemson at 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. That is the schedule for opening weekend there at Globe Life Field. They have an all head coach press conference tomorrow, which seemed odd. 9 days early.
Why?
I don't know. There's a Zoom with all 6 head coaches tomorrow. What do you got?
Nothing. Don't do it.
So
you're fishing.
What?
No, you're just
I
throwing.
was just telling you the news. I was saying there is a Zoom
You're just
tomorrow.
throwing bait in the water. That's all you're doing.
I mean, I've got the list here. Tomorrow, Jim Schlossnagle, Texas head coach. He's going to be there.
Yep.
Dan McDonnell, Louisville head coach.
Yep.
He's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Holliday, Oklahoma State head coach. They're in the field. He's going to be there. Chip Hale, Arizona head coach.
Josh Holliday should have just made more kids. He'd have been rich.
Oh, you just
make kids.
Producing them out. Be all right.
Is he through making kids?
I think so. Yeah.
He should contemplate making more kids. He should say to his wife, listen, what do you think about let's just turn this into like a farm system?
There's a business opportunity there, that's what you're saying.
Well, his children are making a lot of money to swing baseball bats.
They are. Chip Hale, the Arizona head coach, Mike Bianco, the Ole Miss head coach, and Eric Bakich, the Clemson head coach. Those all in attendance for the Zoom tomorrow, 11 o'clock there from wherever they are.
Swimming right by the bait.
Dave Van Horn will be on the next day because Arkansas plays there the following week. So they've got because that's what we need is a press conference 16 days before the tournament.
What is Dave Van Horn supposed to say 16 days before a game?
Oregon State, Ohio State, Kansas State, TCU, Michigan, Auburn, Baylor, Arkansas in that field. So 2 good events, but
why not just have them all stay there for a full week and play each other? They'd set up their nets where everybody get in. Probably because everybody's going to get in anyway.
It's probably okay. Van Horn was very complimentary of his rosters. I noted that yesterday, talking about how trying to handle the portal and how many young guys you take versus portal guys, and it's being so complicated now. And he was more optimistic than I typically hear him in the preseason. He's usually pretty reserved and doesn't say much. And he I don't know if he was just bragging on his assistants for pulling off something that's very difficult or what, but I saw him very, very, very positive.
We've been given a lot of NIL, man. We've sent a lot of coin up there. Trying to
Florida basketball, Arkansas baseball,
yep.
ULM water skiing.
Yep.
That's where we are.
Yep.
All right. We'll continue in a second. Citizens Bank, not just an account number. You're a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, another reason to give them a try with Wilson. And if you know in the mortgage space, now at the Citizens Bank, ready to help your real estate goals. Stop by, visit 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E for now. Discuss your options wherever you are on your financial journey and ask about the School Spirit debit cards because they donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John is part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you options for your travel that you probably aren't going to find on your own. It's Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net or 901-494-3387. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. You've got nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. You get the big game coming up on Sunday. You want to make sure you got your beer stock ready to go. I recommend Parish Brewing Company from right there near New Orleans, Cajun Country, Broussard, Louisiana. They've got just fantastic products. Their goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and I would argue that they have done that quite well. They've got Dr. Juice. They've got Ghost in the Machine, Envy, so many other products as well there at Parish Brewing Company. And if you don't want beer, you want an alternative, Easy Hemp Company. Tyler Siskey tried it over the weekend, loved it. hemp-infused sparkling water. It's guilt-free alcohol alternative, a natural way to relax and unwind. It's all natural, made with real fruit, no added sugar, low-calorie, gluten-free. One 12-ounce can of Easy has 3 milligrams of THC. With Easy, it's easy to avoid the gummy scare and control your experience. So change the can, not the ritual. Visit easyhempco.com to view the Easy Finder to find Easy near you. It's Farm Bill compliant with hemp derived from THC CBD extracts. Easy is for people 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly.
The Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom is on the Ole Miss campus. They aim to examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. They offer an academic minor in freedom studies, scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students to bring along lots of networking potential every single week for the most part during the semester. To learn more, contact Rankin Shirley. That's freedom@olemiss.edu or visit independence.olemiss.edu. So how many cans is equal to like a traditional gummy? Like do we know the formula here at all?
That's 3 milligrams, so it depends on the specific
Obviously.
gummy.
Yeah.
I'm not well versed in the gummy world.
Okay.
My brothers, I shouldn't say this out loud, they are.
Okay. Not a surprise at all. Leonard Hamilton at Florida State announcing he's stepping down at the end of the season. Says, he's the one getting sued by his former players for not upholding promises during the recruiting world there. He told them they would make so much money once they signed. They says they didn't, and now there is that. So, yeah. Okay. Not surprised. I mean, see where they go there. That job has not been annually great. It's okay. He's been there a long time. They've been okay at moments. They've been really good at moments, but what was a very tough conference and an uneven league at that point. So did you see this about I'm looking for the story now. The Pat Hoberg, the MLB umpire that was fired for sort of gambling.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So he supposedly recommended a gambling site to a friend that involved baseball.
They shared an account. So it's most notable because Hoberg is known as the best ball strike caller in Major League Baseball. He has rated out the highest over the last few years. He is known for having a perfect game during the World Series a couple years ago.
2022 World Series.
He called all 129 took pitches correctly over the course of the game. He has
Think about that.
Is a very high reputation when it comes to
was considered
to
the best ball strike umpire in the game.
Yes,
by everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is to get people to say yes, that guy's a really good umpire?
Yeah. Or just to get that many calls right on the margins. Because, I mean, it's coming 100 miles an hour. And
it's clicking edges. It's hard. Go watch the little K-zone when they do it. It's like, whew, dude's like, no one's throwing it right down the middle.
So he was fired for sharing, is the word they use, legal sports betting accounts with a friend who bet on baseball for intentionally deleting messages key to the investigation, which it sounds like that's actually what got him in more hot water than the shared account. It says the quote adamantly denied betting on baseball directly or indirectly, and Manfred comes out, says there was no evidence that he directly bet or manipulated the outcomes of any game in any way. Says that he could ask for reinstatement no earlier than spring training of 2026. So potentially this is a 1-year kick out is what it kind of sounds like.
Sounds like that.
It's kind of where it seems.
I mean, as always, the cover-up's worse than the crime.
It is. It says he met his friend, identified as individual Abe, because yes, let's give him anonymity. At a poker tournament in 2014, they golfed, traveled together, and watched sports on TV. He was a frequent overnight guest at his home in Iowa. Says when it became legal to online sports bet in Iowa, his friend opened a legal online betting account with a sports book and then a second account with another sports book. Said you had to use electronic devices physically located in Iowa. Hoberg asked his friend to place non-baseball sports bets for him using the accounts to do so. The friend gave Hoberg the username and password to his account so that Hoberg could place bets directly by logging into the accounts using Hoberg's own devices on occasion, and when his friend was not in Iowa and therefore not able to place the bets for Hoberg. So essentially, he, again, was using the same account. The other guy, allegedly, as we're aware of, was betting on baseball at that point. And then they were using a messaging app called Telegram to keep logs of direct and indirect bets and where it was going at that point. So after being contacted by investigators, the friend deleted both his Telegram threads with Hoberg. Hoberg deleted his Telegram account.
So now you can't prove that you did, but you can't prove that you didn't.
Of the 141 baseball bets placed from his friends' accounts, 8 bets involved 5 games that Hoberg umpired or had responsibility for replay reviews. That's not good.
Not good.
There was no evidence that he took any action to manipulate the outcome of the game. A detailed analysis did not reveal any pattern to indicate Hoberg's calls were influenced by bets being made by his friend. I mean, you do wonder if he even knew it.
Probably didn't.
Probably didn't even know it.
Ill-advised.
This is a just be smarter. More than anything, this is just a be smarter. I don't really blame baseball for doing this as long as they reinstate him in a year.
They had to punish him.
Yeah, I have no problem with the punishment as long as they let him back in. But you just gotta be a little more aware than that. This is not a Brad Bohannon situation of being complete dumbassery.
No, it's just more of a subtle dumbassery.
It's dumbassery.
It's highly addictive, man. I mean, it's been interesting. You and I talked about sports gambling last week, I think, at some point.
Yep.
And I got a lot of pushback from it. Not nasty, but people very defensive of it. You know, it's fine. If I'm honest, I probably get defensive of like alcohol drinking. I like beer, you know. Would I be better off if I didn't drink beer? Yes. Yes.
Everybody got something. Yeah.
But you know, is sports gambling addictive? Yeah. To some people can handle it, right? Some people can be very disciplined about it. In much the same way there are certain people, I'm one of them, can be really disciplined with alcohol. I sort of know where my limits are, and I can almost never go past them. But I think gambling's that way too. There's some people it just becomes this thing that they do and they can't stop.
And you're chasing it.
Yeah, and then you
get
up
behind and you chase, and it's
and he ends up losing his career over it. I mean, that sucks. I mean, you're at the very top of Major League Baseball's umpiring, and you've got an account betting on Major League. You can't do that. Actually, the more I think about it as I talk through this, I kind of wonder, does he ever get reinstated?
Oh, really?
You ever been in a Major League Baseball clubhouse?
Yeah.
It's the first thing you see.
The no gambling signs.
No gambling on baseball. It's rule 1. Whether it should be or shouldn't be rule 1, it is. He bet on baseball. His account bet on baseball. You can't be an umpire and have an account registered to you that's betting on Major League Baseball games.
If he had no idea, he was just an idiot, it sucks. I mean, if he was betting on him, then okay, sure, whatever.
It's just an interesting thing. I just think it's pretty obviously it's highly addictive.
Oh, everybody, whatever your vice is or whatever, it's all about, I mean, can you actually handle it or not and what that looks like? I mean,
can you control it?
Because, I mean, my complete limiting alcohol wasn't about I was doing something crazy or getting past the limit. It was I just didn't sleep. It wasn't that I was doing something dumb. I just couldn't. I looked at my watch and went, no, this isn't good. Like, and I get gambling to me is, I mean, it's not chemically as addictive as alcohol, but that, I mean, it's said in the stream, and I think you're kind of being sarcastic, but yeah, the thing is you lose and lose and lose, and you're just one bet away.
Yeah.
Get one more game. Just double it. And
well, remember when you were kids and you're like, okay, let's do paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
Okay,
4 out of 7.
4 out of 7. 5 out of 9.
Yeah.
7 out of 13. And we just can't stop. And you dig the hole. When you're doing paper, rock, scissors, it ain't that big of a deal. When suddenly you're betting your money and all of a sudden you don't have any, what's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, I told you the other day I had a friend in college that completely flunked out because he ran up huge credit card debt playing online poker.
I won't repeat the stat because I can't validate it. I am
Uh-huh.
interested. I'm gonna research it a little bit. But if it's true, it's wild about college age boys.
Oh, really? About gambling?
Yeah. The percent that who drop out and what it's based on, gambling was a big number according to this thing that I read. And I
Really?
I can't validate it, obviously. Rock, paper, scissors. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I said.
What'd you say?
I'm not sure. Clearly got it wrong.
What's the official name? Rochambeau? Isn't that right? Wasn't that correct?
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Is it bad that I saw, I mean, and obviously covered him like him, I saw Jackson Dart moving up to number 40 in ESPN's mock draft, which is the Saints pick.
You don't want that to happen?
I don't think it's fair to Dart. The Saints are in such a mess right now that I saw it and went, can you not just go to the Rams?
Well, I mean,
Can you just go to the Rams?
There's one surefire path to fixing your team financially, and that's to have a winning quarterback on a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal.
That does it faster than anything else.
It is the fastest fix. Look, I've said this a bunch of times. People can call me a homer or whatever. I mean, I think I have a pretty good body of proof that says I'm not, but if you told me I had to bet, speaking of betting, I had to bet one way or the other on Dart, whether he would make it or not, I would bet that he would make it. And had you made me bet on Corral, I would have bet against it.
Yeah. Been consistent on that.
I mean, Jackson's good. It goes beyond the cerebral stuff and all the intangible stuff. I'm not surprised at all. It's one of the reasons I think I remember telling you this. I know I said it in the press box in Jacksonville when they kept him in the game in the fourth quarter at the Gator Bowl. I was like, someone get him off the field. I mean,
don't let him
this
do
game's
it to
over.
himself.
Yeah, get him off the field. This game's over. He's going to play in a really, really big week coming up in Mobile. And he, from all accounts, had a really big week. Had a shaky first day with some center stuff. And then kind of took off. And I'm not surprised. He's a fast learner. He's highly competitive, incredibly charismatic. He's a leader. I won't be surprised at all if Jackson Dart's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm hoping for his sake that he goes someplace where there's a vet and he can learn for a year with no pressure.
Your Eli situation, your Warner there.
Yeah. I would not like to see him thrown in some deal. All right, go swim. But I do like his ability. Because people forget Jackson's still young. What's he, 21 years old?
Yeah, he was a young freshman.
I mean, he's a young guy. I won't be surprised at all. And he's got a big body. He's physical. I won't be surprised at all if he ends up being a really good NFL quarterback.
Well, look, there was a reason why it wasn't just out of nowhere or just completely for clicks. I mean, there is some talk that he's early second, and the Giants don't take one of the first two. They would be looking at him early second round for their first pick at 35 or whatever it is.
Well, and here's the thing that happens with quarterbacks is
now I do think Ward and Sanders will be available to them at 3 if they wanted. It doesn't look like the quarterbacks are going 1-2 at the moment, maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
Either one.
I couldn't do it.
I mean, that's kind of with you. I mean, say homer or whatever. Given the value of the price, give me Dart over what Cam and Shador cost, and we'll figure it out. And the spots.
Who's got the first pick? Titans?
Titans.
I mean, I just don't know how
and it's almost universal. They're taking Cam Ward.
Oh.
I told you his stat that bothered me above all stats is he throws a ton of interceptions on short passes even. It's like, what do you – it just – in the NFL, every window's tight. You don't get a break.
No, Stacy makes a great point. She says the Senior Bowl is proof that OLs really have to gel as a unit to be good. The best ones in the country had real trouble protecting him. There's a lot there. It's a whole nother show. There's a lot of topics involved in that. Everything you just wrote, Stacy, is right.
Yeah.
There's just a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, it's one of the reasons that, like, I wrote about Bryson Sanders in 10 Weekend Thoughts. It's
big story.
You cannot just go, hey, here's what we're going to do with the portal. We're just going to go. Here's what we're going to do with our offensive line. We're just going to go hit the portal every year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that'll work. You might strike gold somewhere,
but you need continuity.
but as a rule, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, you need continuity.
You need to be able to bring in some guys that are your guys that you develop, that know your system backwards and forwards. You can go hit the portal for a receiver, probably even a running back.
A lot of defensive players, all of them.
Yeah, defensive guys. But I think up front on the offensive line, I think you better win some recruiting battles and develop guys, and you better have some sort of a system.
Info Network, I get they're doing the background thing, but he completely looks like a weird cutout there, doesn't it? It's odd TV.
They appear to be trying to do some sort of a Mardi Gras related thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, got distracted.
Like the Super Bowl emblem up there is
it's
a fleur-de-lis, very
yeah.
Mardi Gras-ish
Okay.
colors and stuff, purples and
Yeah.
very vibrant ruby reds.
Okay. Take a final break. Tell you about NE Spark, fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages. Speeds of 2 gigabits. That's up from 1 gigabit recently. Same price. To learn more, register for service. Visit nespark.com. NeSpark. Get connected. Stay local.
I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have one final edition of Neal's Picks this weekend that's brought to you by Kaiser Flooring with locations in Oxford and Batesville. Kaiser provides outstanding quality flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. Kaiser carries the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. Kaiser, they believe the key to success is dedication to customer service and establishing relationships with their customers. Their staff is always ready to ensure that they complete your flooring project to your satisfactions. KaiserFlooring.com, or you can reach them in Oxford or Batesville.
Podcast brought to you by the Men's Clinic that's in Madison and Brandon. Their goal is simple. They want patients to remain as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They optimize testosterone, improve sleep, reduce inflammation, treat insulin resistance, and much more. Madison, 601-607-7869. themanthing.com. You make an appointment with them, then they can treat you from pretty much anywhere. So again, themanthing.com. Myles Garrett asked to be traded from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
ESPN lists.
If he just waited a day, he could have been a Laker.
It's true. ESPN lists the most likely candidates as the Washington Commanders, the Atlanta Falcons, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Detroit Lions. These teams most he's gonna be expensive. Have to give something up for
getting a little older too. Kind of gambling a little bit. Very good player. Still
good.
Very good player.
Warren Nolan in pretty much every mock draft, a first rounder at this point. They have
Walter Nolan.
Walter. What'd I say?
Warren, you were thinking baseball.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Walter Nolan. He 20th to the Broncos in the latest mock draft that I saw recently.
That'd be good for him.
He'd be fine with that.
Sure, for sure.
Go to Denver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go hang out. Just one spot ahead of Luther Burden, the Missouri wide receiver in that mock draft.
Okay.
But yeah, they had Cam Ward went to the Titans. This is CBS. Then Mason Graham, the defensive lineman, going to the Browns with the second pick, maybe in response to this.
Could be.
And then the Giants taking Sanders at 3.
Oh,
what could go wrong? Shedeur in New York.
Poor Jeffrey.
The rebuild and the whole deal. What could go wrong?
Jeffrey just can't catch a break. Get that. You got Jim Edmonds basically disavowing himself from Cardinal Nation yesterday.
What did he do?
Just said it's not fun anymore. Says the Cardinals have changed. They're not the same organization.
Oh, they're no longer BFIB.
He said that they don't welcome their Hall of Fame players. That they've just changed.
Gotten corporate.
I mean, and listen, what he essentially was saying is we should just shut this thing down, and I completely agree.
Orlando's wanting a team. St. Louis seems great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, send them over there.
The Orlando, and just don't call them the Cardinals anymore. No, there are no Cardinals in Orlando. Call them the Orlando
Mickeys.
Kingdom. There you go. Already have the Magic. Now you'd have the Kingdom. Just think of all of the parking that you could put if you just build a big parking garage where Bush is right now. I mean, it'd be great.
Downtown area, vibrant.
Yeah, vibrant downtown area for some shopping, hotels, whatnot. Yep. All right. Have you heard this about
What?
the?
What am I reading?
Stacy's on to something.
I didn't read all of it. I saw this yesterday and I did not read it. Go ahead.
It's worth reading. Okay, so we'll make that our homework assignment for later this week.
Yeah, sure.
She says, rumor in Dallas is that the Mavs owners want to move the team to Vegas and build an arena with one of their casinos if the Texas legislature doesn't approve gambling. Far-fetched, she asks.
So you're tanking where Rachel Phelpsing?
Yes. Or forcing
how many people would have to be in on this?
Well, I mean, Chase, they just traded a 25-year-old elite superstar for a guy whose NBA nickname is Street Clothes.
And who's 32?
31.
Okay.
And a pick. And it turns out
they get a 2029 first-round pick.
The original deal had more picks and Dalton Connect, and the Lakers were like, no, that's too much. And the Mavs were like, okay, cool. They didn't even check with anybody else. They didn't call up like, I don't know, Orlando, Houston, Miami, some teams that have picks and go, hey, out of curiosity, just spitballing here. If Luka Doncic were available, what might you be willing to pay? Because that's the stunning thing in NBA circles is people are like, there's probably 10 teams that could have gotten more.
Okay, even if you wanted to do that, why would you not try to get the most you could get?
Maybe they wanted to shock the Texas legislature. I have no idea. I'm not deep enough into the research on this either. But something's weird there. Everyone says it. There's no one in NBA circles that are like, oh, yeah, I kind of get it.
No.
No one. I mean, Charles Barkley sort of half-heartedly doing it kind of makes them a little better now. That's it.
Yeah, come on.
Nobody else is doing that. Everybody else is like,
no, defense wins championships. I heard the GM say it.
Yeah.
Trying to win now.
But seriously, everybody else around the league's going, this is head-scratching. First of all, nobody trades 25-year-old superstars, and if they do, they get mints for them. I mean, the best thing is that people are right. Look at what Brooklyn got from Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Mikal Bridges. Look what Kevin Durant fetched. 10 years older than Luka.
So why the Lakers? Why did they go to them? What was it about the Lakers that made it the choice? Because AD wasn't just the absolute best candidate, period.
He knew Pelinka.
Okay.
And he did that thing that really should infuriate media. We should be making fun of this more. He basically did that thing where he goes, oh, what do we have going on here? You have a walkout in the Senate? Or do they just finish up?
Yeah, they're voting.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I got distracted.
Yeah, you're good.
I mean, he did this thing, Chase, where it's like, hey, we did this and none of you guys ever picked up on it. When the smartest thing would have been, hey, if we're going to do this, let's leak this. Let's leak this to the Dallas Morning News and Shams that, hey, Luka Doncic just might be on the table. Force every team in the NBA to have that 9 o'clock meeting the next day that goes, all right, we have to talk about this. What would we be willing to give?
Yeah.
And maybe there's one team, Detroit or somebody that goes, everything. Everything. They didn't do that.
No.
They held an auction and limited the bidders.
We're the smartest people alive.
They did. That's exactly what they did. And that usually fails.
It does.
Voted out of Senate committee. So he's not going to be. Am I reading that correctly?
That was my interpretation, although that's not a very good headline. I'd like a little more clarification, but that was the way I interpreted it as you were talking.
Not a good headline.
Yeah, really bad headline.
HHS
SEC
secretary nominee, RFK Jr., voted out of Senate committee.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's what that means, but I don't.
I wonder if that means he's out of Senate and now to the full Senate.
Oh, see, terrible headline.
Yeah.
That's awful. Clarity is.
I guess if we had the audio on, we'd know the answer, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. All right, we will.
14-3 was the vote. He passed. So
okay.
Thank you, Stacy.
There you go. All right. Yeah, we're confused over here. Hey, the Wizards won a game last night. Beat the Hornets.
Yeah.
In Charlotte.
Hornets are bad too.
Yeah, I saw that. So, all right, Kentucky, Ole Miss, rebelgrove.com coverage tonight for that one. Rebels and Wildcats, one Ole Miss desperately needs. Heading into a Saturday tilt in Baton Rouge against the LSU Tigers. More content up. rebelgrove.com, MPW Digital, and more. Stay safe, take care, and we will talk to you tomorrow.